defeated face. This is the face of defeat. Yeah, I've been in the car for like a couple hours. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Can't get the bamboo solenoid to keep from chattering unless you tap the gas like every 10 seconds. Even just like turn the configuration off. It says like active. Turn that off. Still pop, 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 pop. Don't know why. Can't figure out why I can't get certain things on the CAN bus. Don't know why I can't get the stuff talking. And yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta take a break and regroup, hit it again. So what we'll do is we'll just leave competing for later, and let's put oil and fluid in the car because that's something I easily know how to do. So we'll do that. This will be easy if I can get the gas tank cap off. Otherwise, it'll be difficult. Have you ever tried to fill up a car with the gas cap, with the coolant cap on? I'm sure that it's not all that easy. Snap on board. This is the same guy we used to test to make sure we didn't have any leaks. And this is the guy that we're going to use to fill this up. So this end here, I have a bucket of water right here, not a bucket, just a little thing right here. And we're gonna pull a vacuum, fill this up until we start running low on water, and then we'll go fill this up some more. And yeah, simple. I think it's this way. This hooks up to this, and we draw the vacuum away. All right. Little dilly here and let the water go. Keep an eye, make sure you don't run out, hopefully. And I'll shut it off for a second. Go put more water in our bucket. That should be it. Try to pull a little more vacuum. Nope. That's it. All right. She is full, and I like to just use water. That way, when it freezes outside and I forget my car's out there, I'll get to change the block out. Have a good excuse to change out the block. Okay, we just filled up the water, which was super easy and simple. One of the few times I've actually had it go super easy and simple, although I spent last weekend fighting all the leaks, so maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, we're about to put some oil in this guy. I did remove the oil pan and put the dipstick in and check to see kind of where it goes, so I have an idea in my head where here's where the oil level is, blah 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 blah. But anyway, these F-body pans, I will double check just to make sure, but I believe these F-body pans take 5 gallons of oil, and I have exactly, I'm sorry, 5 quarts. 5 gallons would be a bit ridiculous, right? So 5 quarts, we have 5 quarts of 1040, just regular ass oil. And what we'll do is, we already have some oil in this guy, and I have this guy right here is the pressure tank. You pull oil in here, hook up your air compressor here. This will tell you how much PSI you're running at, although you'll set that on your regulator. This guy
we'll just plug in, we'll screw on this hose, which will connect to the tank. The tank will be on a scale. We'll weigh it we'll zero it with 1 quart of oil in it, which is what should be in there now. And then we'll fill it up, and then when it gets down to 0, we'll know that it's pushed all the oil through the galleys. How are we going to do this? Well, let me show you. So right down here, you see that shiny hose down there? Well, it goes right into the freeze plug on the side of the block. I just drilled that freeze plug and tapped it for a 1/8 NPT, and it rolls up through here. That is, and if we look, let me see if I can cheat. Yeah, so it just goes to this guy, which is just remote oil filter, which then goes across the car to the turbo, obviously. So that way we, the thing about it that's nice is, like when I lost my bearing last time with the oil getting contaminated, our filters saved everything, so everything inside the motor was good. The little glittery boy, it didn't glitter bomb. I know what a good glitter bomb is. This is like a marginal glitter bomb, but it did eat the bearings. I mean, I had to pull, enough where it basically, where it basically took off like maybe 1/3 of one of the bearings and spun it around on the other bearing. You get one of those like uni bearing halves that come out, and it's a hot mess. It did that, but it saved everything. Like everything in the engine was good. That stuff didn't go anywhere. It went to the filters and got filtered. So I like that, and it gives me 2. I get twice the filtering capacity, and gotta take care of these good VS Racing turbos. So I'm going to get all that, what we just talked about, set up, and we'll push oil. I'm actually going to fire up the dash, and see if it will show me that we have oil pressure in the system. That would be a nice sign of life from the dash. Sit back, kick back, and watch the world get bushwhacked. Okay, close enough. Close enough. It's probably always close enough, so it makes everything so complicated in the long run, right? I'm dual wielding here, guys, so bear with me. The oil and the water in yesterday, I believe, or the day before, can't really remember. But good thing is everything appears to be pretty dry. I don't really see any leaky guys coming out anywhere. So yesterday we fiddled with the Holley stuff and trying to get so the dash does talk to, if I put my head in the right place, it cuts out some of this light. So the dash does talk to the computer, because we had not fuel pressure, oil pressure when we were loading the oil, pressurizing it through the oil galleys. I got the boost solenoid that was just like clicking at some random frequency to stop doing that. It was just my own stupid mistake when I was building the table for the boost solenoid. I had it start at like around or a little bit below atmospheric, thinking like, oh well, I'll roll into it, we want to kick that thing on to get her spooled up and moving and blah 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 blah. Have no idea if that's the right way or the wrong way, but I know it's the wrong way now, because when the car's just sitting there and you switch it on, it's at atmospheric pressure, so it's going to kick the boost solenoid on. So that was an easy fix. But there's a million little tables and inputs and configuring the CAN bus, and that's all terrifying. That being said, everything should be to where I should be able to just throw the key and it should start. You guys ever get to that point where you could probably start it, but you're just terrified? It's like you're at the blackjack table, you just threw everything you had down on black, and you're taking that spin. That's kind of how I'm feeling. But I think today I'm just going to fiddle more with the computer, trying to make sure all my sensors are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Watched a lot of videos. probably should spend some time in the Holley forums. I bet there's a wealth of knowledge to be gained there, but I'm kind of lazy, and I'm kind of not all that bright. All right, before we were so rudely interrupted, I had to go beat the dogs a little bit. Yeah, so mostly I'm just like bummed out and frustrated because I can't quite figure out the Holley software and getting everything the configurations are easy. So if you're just running like the 4 ins and the 4 outs, and that's really intuitive, there's a million videos. But once you start getting into the can and trying to figure out all the steps involved in making the can, talk to the computer and all that, I just don't know. I honestly don't know. So I put out the back call on the Facebook asking if there's anybody that knows about this stuff, and hopefully we'll get some help. If not, I don't know. But what I did do is I threw 5 gallons of gas-ish into this guy, E85 stuff. I must have already taken the thing outside, and put fuses, boop, in our little relay panel. So our fuel pump is now on, and I have it. We're not showing any change in the fuel level on the dash, which is awesome. So probably just another thing I haven't configured right. You can't even speak English. How can you tune a computer, Mike? And we've already kicked it on, and yeah, the fuel pump does what it's supposed to do, which is good. But I had the fuel shutoffs. I have a fuel shutoffs like right after my trunk. Right after the gas can, it goes right into fuel shutoff, or right after the filters. One of the two. No, it's on its way to the filters. That way you can clean the filters without getting completely soaked in gas. You can just shut off the fuel, which is really nice. So I turn those back on. I have to connect the starter because we didn't have oil and water. So I thought the smart thing to do at the time was just leave the starter disconnected because you don't want to be cranking it over with no oil in it. So we will connect that guy back up, and we will prime the fuel pump, and we will see if we got fuel all over the floor, or if we've done a pretty good job sealing up the all of our fittings and fuel system stuff. So we'll check that, and we can also probably check the fuel pressure. That should be showing now. So, fuel pump. Let's prime the fuel pump and look for leaks. Isn't it funny when you leave the fittings hand tight? That's kind of how it works out. There we go. Oh. All right, we made it to the fuel pump, and it shot fuel everywhere, or the regulator. That being said, we do have 40 psi of fuel pressure, so that's good. I mean, it's not good. We need to adjust it and make it right, but at least it's got fuel pressure now. All right, so it's right at 60, maybe 58, 60, right around there. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a whoop. Just give it a little more whoop, because a little extra fuel pressure won't hurt anything. We had one fitting in the back on the fuel filter that I just changed that needed to be snugged down, it looks like. So let's get the starter hooked up. And then we might start it. We might turn the key, see what happens. That'll be terrifying.